Alright, so uh I'm gonna be doing a video walkthrough today here of creating a firearm for Brutalistick VR. I am making this video to hopefully make it a lot less of a pain in the ass so you can just kind of like follow along with what I do. Not everything I do is gonna be perfect, obviously. I'm likely gonna end up making a few mistakes because this does get pretty complicated. Uh However, I'm doing this hopefully for anybody who's willing to take on the challenge to dethrone me as the only person who has made custom guns for Brutalistick. Please, someone dethrone me. Alright, so this is also assuming that you already have Unity scenes set up here with all your fucking modding shit. Put it in. And you've also got the file or the model you're going to be using, the Firearm model, here in Blender. Which, speaking of which, it's important to understand, or shit, fucking jumbling up my goddamn words. Also, huge potty mouth. It's important that all these different parts are separate on your model, like the magazine, trigger, the bolt. All can be separate objects. It's very important. This is a bit of an extra thing, but what I like to do is often on these models, these game rip models anyway, this model is from Battlefield 4. I'll take the one of the bullet models. I'll usually like edit it to trim off any extras, just have like this one little bullet left, and then I'll duplicate it and I'll delete the tip off of it right there. So then there's just an empty casing. But I've got all this here taken care of, so I'm now going to highlight the entire model like this to export it as an FBX. M16 finalized. Okay. I'm going to select object types as mesh under transform FBX all. And then forward and up, I'm going to look up at the little gizmo here. Up is Z. I've already got that set, and Y is negative Y. Important you put that down, like how the gun's pointing and stuff. And disable use space transform and apply transform data. This will bake the items and shit. Turn off animation and disable add leaf bones. This geometry tab's mostly fine. You shouldn't have to really mess with that. I'm gonna export the FBX here. Now back into Unity, I'm gonna create a folder and name it however I want. I don't know, Battlefield or guns. I'm going to later make this folder here a pack, different guns. I'm only starting with the M16 here today. And so I'm gonna take this folder, go over here in the expector, under acid bundle down here at the bottom. I'm gonna create new, name it whatever you want. It's also important that you name yourself like, oh, by whoever. This is a little thing that Eric has put down on the wiki. Probably important. Just like if somebody gets their hands on the raw asset files, they can't really upload it themselves. Go back into this folder. I'm gonna make another one. This folder will have the actual gun in it. Oh yeah, another thing is that every asset you use for your mod has to be under the same asset bundle. If you decide to have like if your M16 here has a firearm scribble object that's like off in fucking La La Land, somewhere else not underneath this one parent folder, it will not work. It will not build with the firearm scribble object. That's just an example. If you're missing anything because you didn't put it under the correct folder as being built for the asset bundle, it will not work. Every asset you use for your mod has to be under the same asset bundle. No exceptions. Now with that out of the way, I'm going to get started on this. I'm going to Go to the folder here. Fuck. M16 file has my little FBX file right here. We go to the model properties, big access conversion, disable all this extra stuff. Don't need any of that. Read and write, generate light map UVs, and set normals to calculate. This normals thing isn't super important. I just know with models that I've done in the past have brought up a bunch of like model import errors when leaving it on import, so I just like to put it on calculate just to ease the Unity a bit, I guess. Going to apply that. Go into the rig tab, disable none. Go to the animation tab, disable import animation. And finally, the materials. First, before we get started with that, I'm going to drag the model into the scene. Set its coordinates to 0, 0, 0. And this little bit, something I like to do. I'll take like I'll take an example gun, whether it be something that Eric made or another gun that I've made in the past. I'll bring it down into the scene so I can bring it side by side for scale, reference of scale. This I think I could probably make like 0.5. See how that looks. Pretty fucking close. That looks pretty good actually. I'm just gonna go with that. That looks fucking spot on. Alright. So the reason why I changed the scale here in the model import settings instead of just the import or the model that I have in my scene, you want to leave this scale to 111 no matter what. This is important because if you change the scale through here instead of the model import, it won't scale correctly on the wall. And past experience tells me that if you don't do it correctly through here, it'll be like fucking either really tiny or just really massive on the wall. Normally, it's supposed to auto scale, but it can't really do that if you don't really do that here in the scale factor. Yeah, on the model or the prefab itself, you want to keep it at 111 across the board. Anytime you want to change the model scale, try and do it through here. If you already set it up and everything, it's just like, you don't just do like a teeny tiny increase in size like this AK I made. You can probably get away with doing it here as long as it isn't like stupid big on the wall. That's what you want to avoid, really. Get this out of the way. Alright, so I've now got my M16 right here, prefab. I'm now going to start working on the materials. This one will be the body. Parts from barrel, body. This is the irons, separate stock. You can also see all the materials under here in the materials tab on your model import. Irons, material 6, that is. Can't remember which one that might be the bullet actually. Okay, yeah, it's the bullet that uses that. How did I know which material is which? I'm going to take my textures that I have here from the model. I'm just drag them in. The normal. Well. I should probably do the. I'm at it. Alright. Oh yeah, because I put these textures in, the materials are now automatically defaulting them. But that's, I mean, that's okay if you want. I personally like to have a lot of complete control over the materials myself, so I'll often like create them from scratch and then put them on the model, like what I'm about to do here. Map. Add another normal map. Fixed now. There it goes. Pretty all right. Go under the model import settings, back to the materials tab. Put this in the material slot that it's meant to go in. Look at that. Alright, looking a little bit better. Here I can customize the metallic map and shit. Make it look real nice and shiny if I want. Messing with stuff here. Oh yeah. First little detail thing I like to do doesn't really matter, but I'm personally not a big fan of like these real bright shines on weapons, so I'll usually just take the texture, throw in the occlusion map tab so it like darkens out a bit. You still got the nice looking like normal mapping, but it isn't super bright and reflective anymore. Pretty sure I can just put this same material on the entire irons. Yep, see, same effect. The stock, same story with the stock. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, good. As for the bullets, material. Same story here. I'm just gonna drag the texture onto the base map, and I'm putting normal map here under normal map. Click fix now. There it goes. Looks good. This one, however, I do want to be real shiny. Drag it over here. All right. Do the same thing with the bullets. Like, okay. I'm gonna take the texture, put it on an occlusion map, make it so it still has that nice shine to it, but it doesn't look real glossy anymore either. Pretty nice. Okay, another thing you can do, if you ever have like an open spot like this, like on this casing here, what I'll often do is I'll have it, where is it? I'll go to material and I'll have it render face both. So it renders the front and the inside, so now it's not completely hollow anymore. I mean, it still is pretty hollow, but you can't see through it like a scope, I guess. Yeah, we've got our weapon model here set up. Because in Blender, when we went to export, we did not have it bake, like the scene position here. Probably check back. Because we disabled use space transform. These objects are now set within a correct position within the scene. Otherwise, it would set feed 000, and that'd kind of suck for later. Again, everything I'm doing here is specifically to make the process a little easier and smoother on myself, but also to anybody trying to follow along. I've now got the model right here, material setup and everything, so now I'm going to right click the prefab here. I'm going to go down here and unpack completely. This way, I can now select these items freely, as if they're just like kind of loose game objects in the world. And later on, I'm gonna repack it later into a original prefab. Easy. Oh yeah, here. I could probably take this magazine right here. Hate it. So normally you don't have to duplicate it. I'm only doing it now just so I can like keep this mag right here so I remember the exact position coordinates for later. Drag this out of the prefab so now it's separate. Nip to mag. Now the next part is actually pretty convenient. All the way up here at the tab, we got the modding tools. Into the magazine helper, I'm gonna drag this tab over here so I can still look at what the hell I'm doing. Close these. Alright, so under this menu, we're gonna take our mag object and drag it over here into the magazine object on the magazine helper. And next part's also pretty important. We're gonna create a folder. Gonna name it ammo. This is how I like to do it. You don't have to do it this way. It's good to keep organized. Now, I'm now going to set up a bullet wrapper prefab here. And in order to do that, that's where these two come in, casing and around. I'm also going to drag these out, set their coordinates to 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Right. All right. I'm gonna create the right here. This is gonna be the bullet. This is the bullet is the projectile that the gun fires itself. It doesn't really have to be anything like. Doesn't have to be a 3D model or anything. It'll all work the same regardless of what it looks like. So I usually prefer to just make it a simple little game object, make it an empty, drag it down, make it a prefab. That's usually what I do. As for the round, add a rigid body. 0.1. Rigid body is important because it's how it interacts with the game environment. I'm also going to give it a little collider. A little capsule collider. Alright, now that the round itself now has the rigid body and the capsule collider, drag it down here, make it a prefab, like this. Pretty sure the casing itself is all it needs to have a rigid body, if I remember correctly. Go ahead and make that a prefab. Next part here, other empty. This is the game object that will have the whole bullet wrapper thing on it. Name this the bullet wrapper. Now I'm going to add a component. I'm going to search the bullet wrapper script right here. I've got the round prefab. We're going to fill these in with the prefabs that we made into the assets down here and not within the scene. Going to round prefab, casing prefab, then the bullet prefab. Now we're missing something. We're missing a bullet scriptable object. Let's go and create that real quick. Be down here on scriptable objects and then bullet scriptable object. Now this is what handles all of the stats, like the damage, jibbing, all that stuff. Bullet caliber, shit, I don't know. Whatever, man. Doesn't matter. Bullet hit force. M16, it's a pretty good rifle, so I'm gonna say 50. 35. 5. Mess with these stats however you want. Doesn't matter exactly how you do it. It's all about how you want the gun to perform. And I guess combat damage it does and stuff. I've pretty much already said it. I'm rambling now. Exit wound gore size. I would personally wouldn't go anything above 0.03. Otherwise, you're gonna start getting a whole bunch of weird like visual bugs and shit. So I'm gonna lower that actually. 0.1. Exit wound gore chance. Not really anything devastating. 25. Fractured chip. I believe that's the amount of damage it does to props. I guess I'll make that a 20. 20 damage to props. So I usually don't mess with this stat specifically. I often end up doing the extra fractured prop chance, or I'll just have like a really high penetration count. So this stat's gonna be a little new for me. I'm gonna see what this one does later. See how powerful that is. It's a jibbing, pretty simple. It's a chance to immediately like make something just fucking explode, whether it be a limb or like the body. Body being like the limbs being like arms, legs, and I think the head. Body being the torso. You can enable these to have a specific like percentage chance for that to happen. Also applies for props. You can also do that for props. Just know that for performance and gameplay related reasons, you should probably disable these if you're making a shotgun, because this applies to every single pellet a shotgun would fire. So it stacks up pretty good. So we've got the bullet wrapper right here. We now have this scriptable object set up correctly, so we're going to go back to our bullet wrapper. We're going to drag this down here to the bullet wrapper script. Now we're going to take the bullet wrapper, make it a prefab. That's a lot of prefabs right there. Now we have the bullet wrapper set up correctly, so now we can go back over to the magazine helper. Take this bullet wrapper, drag it up here. Now we can click set first round position. So, do is they'll like point where all the bullets go. Right here. Like this, so this would be the position the bullets will be in within the mag. So usually want to have them like at the top, where they'll actually be visible. Magazine capacity, I don't know, let's say 30. Extra surrender 4. Like that. Offset per round 0.01. 0.05. Let's have that. Now rest of this is round direction. That's like the overall direction it goes. Default -1, so it's always going down. Shouldn't really have to mess with this part too much. Now the alternating offset, that's where stuff gets fun here. I'm going to go and enable alternating applies the first round. I'm going to one. I can always rendering down here. Change it back to 4. Looks pretty tight right. Pretty good to me. Alright. So yeah, now that that's set up, we got the bullets in the mag. Pretty cool. All nice and shiny and shit. So now we've got this whole thing set up. We're going to save the magazine prefab. I'm going to call it the mag. The mag. Alright, so now that's saved right here as a prefab. Drag it up here. Fucking. There it is, right there, the magazine prefab. Now, I'm going to probably delete this, put this up in here in the scene. Now we have some more things to do with it. We're not totally done with it just yet. We're going to have to add a collider to it. Nothing too complicated. You usually get away with just adding it to the mag prefab itself. Little collider. Box collider. Kind of scale it however you need. feel like fits the mag best. Doesn't have to be anything too crazy. It's also worth noting that you should only have one of these colliders on this mag. Otherwise, when you go to put the mag into the gun, you will still be able to collide with it as it's in the gun, and it'll cause somewhere like handling issues and shit. So, having just the one, you put it into the mag, your hand won't really collide with it. And that's what you want. I don't know, make this a trigger, I guess. Doesn't really matter too much, I don't think. Whatever. So we've got the collider here on the thing. Now, under here, under grab point, I'm gonna add to the grab detection colliders. Go over here to our scene. We're gonna take the mag prefab, just drag it over here. Now it's got the little box collider we just added. And now here's where things get even more tedious. The hand poses and shit. You could also just be lazy and use automatic hand posing, but that doesn't really look good. It's also kind of awkward fumbling around with it like that. I usually just prefer to use dedicated grab points. It just makes for better gameplay. Now for the grab point, we go back to our assets. We're gonna go to modding. We're gonna take our grab points prefab. We're gonna drag it right here. Put it 000. I'm gonna put it under the mag. 000 again. Here we go. All right. Grab point. Rotation. Wherever we want it to be. Like that. Go back over to the mag. Grab point. We're gonna open this little drop down. Take this little part right here. This is the grab point itself. I'm gonna put it over here. Now that we've got the grab point and the box collider there, what's left is the hand pose. Now this is where we're gonna get the next modding tool, the hand poser. Drag it over here just again. Now on the hand poser, we're gonna take the grab point that we just added over into the hand poser tab. Hand pose to load. I don't know, you can just click that little dot, just look up something. I've already made a handful of these poses myself. I can probably get away with reusing one. I'll try this one. Alright, that looks pretty decent right off the rip. Alright, so let's say you want to position one specific hand at a time, but you don't want the other to be visible. Under here, scene, going to grab point, hand mouse clone, then just all the way over here on the side. You can see like one of them, like a little eye icon, disable that, like whatever hand you don't want to see. Now you can actually like pay attention. Over here, you can just like grab it, rotate and stuff. Pretty good already. Alright, so say you're done with this hand, but you don't want to have to redo the whole other hand. You can mirror the pose. Mirror left hand pose to right hand. Is now duplicating this pose and then mirroring it over onto the right hand. Same thing goes with vice versa. Right hand pose to left hand. I can be visible again. There it is. Pretty good. So now here you can save hand pose as. And well, now I'm gonna make a new folder here. Call it hand poses. Name to it. Mag this is now the that's now the pose we're gonna use for it. Have it right here as like a little script or whatever. Drag it over here. The hand pose. Alright, so now the mag should theoretically be completely set up. You can go ahead and up here at the top, click this little overrides button, and then you want to apply all. Alright, so now that this prefab should be totally ready, go over here, make sure it's go over to the prefab with the assets here, set to 0, 0, 0, make sure everything's right. Alright. And with these rounds, gonna make sure everything's at a good 0, 0, 0 position. Whatever the fuck. Okay. So we now have our mag prefab completely set up, ready to use later. Now the next part is the gun itself. This is where things get pretty tedious. Weren't tedious already, it's real tedious now. M16, this I can off. DD less clutter. Mag. Keep the mag here. So now the next part, I'm gonna go and create a scriptable object. This time it is the firearm scriptable object. Weapon name M16 or make this a burst because that's how it is in Battlefield 4. Max rounds per minute. Right, let's say 8. Wide cycling time. I don't know. Kind of mess with these stats, how the weapon recoils and stuff. That's bulb, whatever. That casing. Oh yeah, here's something I like to mess with. Limit backward recoil. I'll set that to 5, 1, 5, 1. I think that's how it is on. Okay, 5, 1, 5. That was all the. Yeah, 5, 1, 5. Okay. That's how I usually go about it. I'll do like 5, 1, 5. This is the recoil limits. I like to keep these limits just right because it gives me plenty of space to have the gun kick real good without it just straight spinning in your hand like a Beyblade. Just get on socket. Multiple bullets per round is good for shotguns. Bullet count per shot. And of course the bullet spread right there. I decided to recoil. Yeah, I'm gonna leave these recoil stats here. I'll mess with those later. Now, as for a Steam ID, that you can go and get off of your you can get off of the wiki. The wiki tells you how to do that. I've already got mine right here ready anyway. I don't have to mess with the wiki. Yeah, if you want to get your little Steam ID to use up here, go through the wiki. I already have the wiki open anyway. Very useful. We now have the firearm scriptable object set up. So we're going to go over to our M16 finalized here. Now this, add a component. Firearm wrapper. Now this, lot to unpack right here. before I forget, I'm gonna add another component. This is the rigid body. This one has to be continuous dynamic. That's not, I'll make it 6. 0 angular drag. Mess with these stats however you want. All this stuff right here is up to you. Doesn't matter a whole lot. It just has to be continuous dynamic. All right. Start with the firearm scriptable object. This one that we just created a second ago for the gun. This is what tells the game to load this specific weapon prefab under this scriptable object. They're supposed to be combined too, because if you don't do it correctly, if you're missing a firearm scriptable object, it just won't show up on the wall. If you're missing the correct prefab, it might not even do anything. It might just be an empty little, I don't know, slot on the wall. Feel like that. Back to the prefab here. Well, it's not a prefab yet, but I'm going to make it one later once I've got all the parts ready. You know what? I'm gonna start with this part. This part I often do myself a lot because it just makes shit easier to do. I'll take like a different weapon that I've made or one of the examples that Eric has created. I'll just duplicate like all this extra shit right here. And then I'll put it under next gun. Don't need. Now we've got all these objects here to mess with. Kind of position them wherever they need to be. Stabilizer grabbable. This one is going to be like the foregrip. Going to be what you use to support the gun with your offhand, most likely. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Take this grab point. However, right here. The ejection port is going to be where your bullets eject. The exact position and rotation of which the casings will be ejected as you're shooting. Now if you have a hard time seeing how it will rotate, you can change your tool handle rotation from global to local. Now you can see like the angle. Shells will eject that. I personally like to leave mine on global, just easier. That point. I guess here's another thing. The upper recoil. That's probably fine where it is. I don't really know what these do exactly. I just know that they're important. I just know the mod loader requires them for them to function correctly. I've never seen these make an impact on the guns I made. I just know they need to be there. This at the end of your barrel. Ammo socket trigger. This is gonna be what the magazine collides with to trigger it going into the gun. Mag release button. Uh, I usually like to have it over the actual button on the model. Doesn't have to really be a button. This is more so just the trigger collider that makes the mag, I guess, eject out of the gun. That's you specifically like pressing your secondary button or anything like that. Like pulling it out by hand, this just makes it drop out with another mag. I personally like to just have it fit over the button so I can, like, I don't know, do a mag tap to release it. Kind of cool. Mag grab. This one I usually don't use a whole lot, but it's there. Another collider where if like you like try and grab the mag out if you want. Not super important, I don't think. Yeah, fit that over where the mag will be. Okay, so we've got that stuff set up. We can now go over here. Because this gun is using a mag, you shouldn't need a single round loaded, so you can just close that. Magazine wrapper, we're gonna go to our ammo folder right here. We're gonna drag the mag prefab. God damn it. Okay, right here. Under where it says to put one. Magazine wrapper prefab. Main grab point. Fuck it. Mess with that later. Mess with the grab points last, because those are really annoying to do. Trigger object. Drag that over from the model into here. Round changing came. Fuck. Ejection port. Up recoil part. Now going to vertical recoil. Backwards. Right there. Bullet origin. Magazine trigger collider. That'd be the ammo socket. Mag grab collider. Auto release mag trigger. That's a mag release button that I've made. Magazine socket, we don't have that yet, but we'll get it later. Here. Audio clips. Audio is entirely optional, and all these like specifics are mostly just for like different weapon types. Right now, we're just doing a common little mag-fed rifle, so we shouldn't need any of this stuff right here. We should only need these parts and maybe the audio if we want. But fucking, I'm gonna make this a prefab. Alright, so it's now prefab right here. So now that it's a prefab, any changes I make, I have to apply it under the overrides through the inspector right here. This is important. Alright, you gotta save the changes you make to it now, manually. Yeah, may start on those. These rounding the casings, some 000. This position on the word, I guess they'd be like in the barrel. You want to position them like right in front because the chambered rounding casing will slide back as you pull the thing back, so you don't want to have it inside. You want to have it like right in front. Trying to like. All right, now I'm gonna parent these, or I'm gonna drag these under the bolt object right here. So now whenever I pull this back, see the rounds are in there. Now next thing we gotta do is the cocking handle wrapper under the bolt object. Handling type, I don't know, make it non-reciprocating. Non-reciprocating makes it so like it kicks back wherever you shoot, like a handgun. But we're not going to do that with this one. I'm going to make it non-reciprocating. And for speed, that's kind of not going to mess with that stuff. Grab points. Here we go again with that bullshit. Slide forward and backward. Those are sounds. Those are going to be sound effects right there. Audio clips. All right. Shit, I guess we had no choice but to mess with all that stuff now. We're going to go back over to our modding. Take the grab points, prefab, drag it wherever we need it to be. Bolt. Maybe. Grab point where we need it to be. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create an empty here. This empty will have the trigger collider we're going to use for the grip. Okay, so we now have it right here, where we need it to be, right where the grab point is. Add a component, collider, little box collider right here. Make this a trigger, because of course. Now I'm going to add a little, hold on. I'm going to add a sphere collider. Change its radius point. 5. 3. 2 looks about right. We go back to our hand poser here. We're going to take our grab point underneath this bolt. Pull it over here into the grab point part. Load from hand pose. Probably change the hand pose actually. Okay. Same thing we did earlier with the mag. Going to our hand models. I'm going to disable the right hand model. Left hand. I position it however you need. If your gun doesn't have a bolt, this is completely unnecessary. You can probably skip this part of the video. Or when you do have a bolt on your gun. Go ahead and move the fingers in. Yeah, that looks about right. A mirror the left hand pose, right hand. Like, yeah, that looks. So I'm now going to save the hand pose. Hand poses. I call this one the bolt. Now we go back to the inspector. Go to the bolt here. +1 on the grab points. This will bring up a list. Do the same thing we did earlier with the mag. Fill in these correct little boxes. Put the grab point box. Yeah. The collider. You grab detection colliders, and of course our hand pose. Hand pose here. Bolt. Alright. I'm now going to save this. Apply the prefab. So it's now saved into the gun. Now have the correct round and casing. Probably put in here now. Chambered casing. Bird round. Apply this in real quick. Round casing ejection port. Next thing we really need now, right here, at least as far as this is all concerned, is a magazine socket. But we'll get to that once we get around to the trigger and stuff. Now got the bolt and the magazine are now finished. Now we have to do the main grip. Grab point there. I'm gonna have it's important to note also that the main grab point for like the trigger hand has to be at the very top of the hierarchy under the prefab. Using I know, but you have to have the grab point and its collider all the way up here. Very important. It however you need. Alright. 16 finalize. Under the main grab point menu right here, this little area, I'm now going to drag the correct grab point over in the grab detection collider. I have to create an for that. Grip collider. Give this a little box collider. Change its size and shit. Alright, so that's the main grip collider. I'm gonna drag it all the way up here. Now the main grip, one with the trigger, is now all the way at the top of the hierarchy. This is to ensure that the main grip actually works correctly. Lighter. Now, if you need to make sure it's the correct in the correct things, you can also click these. They'll highlight over here. And the next thing we gotta do is the hand pose. Alright, here we go again. And I'll take the AK-12. Oh yeah, I forgot to update the grab points. Take the correct grab point. Hand pose. There it is. Okay. Gonna and hide left hand. Your right hand pose to the left hand. Oh, that should be correct. Save this hand pose. Be the main grip. All right. So it'll usually, it should by default bring up the main grip or the grip pose, hand pose, whatever you call it, right here that you just saved. They usually bring that up to the hand pose to load by default. So you should be able to just immediately load from hand pose. This should be the right one. This one, for this time, however, I am going to make it the trigger pose where the finger is squeezing the trigger. Like that. Again, you can pose this stuff however you like. It's really up to you. I just have my own way of posing this stuff. You don't have to do exactly how I do it. Again, I'm going to mirror the pose. So if I make left hand visible again, that should also be trigger. If hand pose as. Name it correctly. Main grip trigger. Alright, so now that's the main grip done. Go over back into our little gun here. Hand poses folder. Now under the hand pose and trigger pose. Main grip. Oh, fuck. Alright, hand pose, that'll be the main grip. Then trigger pose will be the main grip trigger. Gotta name these things correspondingly so you know which is which. That's important. Gotta keep shit organized, otherwise you won't be able to do shit. Now the next part is a stabilizer grab point, that being the foregrip, or however you hold it with your offhand. Gonna click plus to add one. Grab point will be our stabilizer grabbable object over here. Probably get rid of this little one here. I don't know if this will actually do anything, but I like to get rid of some shit names just to make sure it all marks correctly. Stabilizer grabbable over here. Yeah. Wait a minute. Oh, that's the wrong bit. Grab point here. It is. Okay. Now the stabilizer grabbable is the collider. And the last part, once you got this done, you're done with all the hand poses. Take this grab point. I'm gonna load up a little hand pose. You gotta edit it from there. Let's try the A12. Okay. I'm gonna hide right hand. Start messing with the left hand. Okay, another thing that's worth noting is depending on how you position the hand, the controllers will have to do the same as well. So you will have to have your hand like rotate and stuff according to how the hand is positioned onto the gun. If you want to hold it upright and shit. So depending on how you do this hand pose, it'll also dictate on how comfortable the gun is to just kind of hold. If it's like tilted to the side, all awkward or some shit. Looks pretty natural. I gotta be able to hold a gun like that in real. Left hand post to the right hand here. How it looks either like that. Right hand should probably. All right, yeah, pretty good. Go ahead and save this hand pose like the other four. Now down here, got a little asset file explorer thing. Got back into the prefab. Or to stabilize your grab point, where it says hand pose, just take the one that you just made. I call it foregrip. And just drag it right there. And then I'm gonna finish it. Alright, this little magazine must be held thing. This dictates what or dictates whether or not you can just kind of like just swing the gun down onto your little ammo belt and load it that way. That's good for having like wanting to like reload dual wield guns and shit. Otherwise, you have to pull it out by hand. Put it in by hand. But just for rule of cool, I'm gonna disable that. By all. Alright. So next thing we need, this should be hopefully final step in getting it properly set up, is the firearm helper. Firearm wrapper. Drag a little prefab over here. Now these buttons show up. Edit magazine position. This is very good. So we're gonna take this little magazine socket thing. This is why I kept this magazine here earlier, so I can take these little coordinates here. I can copy them, paste them over to the magazine socket. Like that. This mag I can probably just move out of the way. That should be right on point. It's not. Hold on. Fucking close though. Shit. Back a little. Yeah, it's rotate. Part. That should be. Okay. Magazine socket is there. Save the magazine position. So now it should leave behind a little magazine socket object. Now we're gonna go back into the firearm. Now we're gonna scroll down to where this is empty right here. We're gonna drag this magazine socket over. We're gonna save the prefab. Now if that's there, we can go back over to our magazine socket. We're gonna click it. I'm gonna click create empty. This is how you dictate, or I guess change the angle the magazine slides in. So by leaving it default like this, it'll, whenever you go to put the mag in, it usually does like a little animation of it sliding into place. By leaving it default as is, it'll do it from the front and that'll look weird. So we're gonna add a little game object. You don't have to name it anything, it's just a little object underneath the magazine socket. It'll show a little line here and tell you exactly what it is. So I'm gonna rotate that like that. That looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good right there. So now that I've rotated it, whenever I go to put the mag into the gun, it should now slide it from the bottom up. So I'm going to go save this again. Like that. Magazine socket. Go back, edit magazine. It should still be there. Right there. Save that. Delete this little old part right here. That's not needed anymore. Next thing we should do is start editing the slide. We can select the slide here. Save forward, save chambered. Those are basically the same thing, saver or forward and chambered, whatever. At least with how the guns work right now. As far as I'm aware, open bolt systems don't exactly work yet. So forward and chambered for now is most likely going to be like the default. Like, oh yeah, make them the same. Do the backwards as far as I can because bolt here, funny, not modeled all the way in. So that's the best we're gonna get. So save backward and eject. I'm gonna go to forward, backward, forward, checked chamber. Go through these, make sure they all look correct. That seems about right. I'm gonna stop editing cocking handle. That should be good right there. Yeah, load all these little values right here. Probably save this too. I'm at it. It's just to make sure these values stay here in between the different parts of the firearm wrapper. So I've had issues with that before, where like I forgot to save it in between editing these different parts, and then one thing ends up just getting nullified, like the values on the bolt and shit. And the last thing we're gonna do, edit the trigger position. I'm gonna save the start rotation and start position. I'm gonna save both of those. So now we can go and rotate it. I'm gonna position it a bit. Save in position and end rotation. Now we can go between. Looks like you're squeezing the trigger rope. All right. All right. So now the trigger should also be fully set up as well. Now the next part, pretty easy to do. It's also really tedious. Is doing the colliders for the gun. This is so it doesn't fucking fall through the world when you drop it or some shit. These colliders are very important. Also, fucking smash it over someone's head because that's awesome. Start with the body here. I'm at component box collider. I'll scale it however I need it to. I've already got a little box glider over the grip, so I don't have to worry about putting it over that either. Have it right here like this. It doesn't have to be super precise or anything like that. It just has to fit the rough shape. That's what you're going for, is the rough shape. Because you don't have to get all these really fine details like the under of this little fucking bullet thing. Almost nothing's ever gonna be going there anyway. Yeah, it's also important that you look underneath it fits correctly. Got like this little spike right here. That's completely unnecessary. Shouldn't have to really worry about that. That wouldn't really do much anything. This time I'm gonna do a little capsule. That's the 2D one. These capsule collider for the barrel here. Kind of toy around with the values and works good. Looks other capsule. So now, next thing I'm gonna do is up here on the part, like just colliders here that meant to collide with the world. I'm gonna go up here and layer, but do ignore player. If that's not there, if you don't have this, then you can click add layer, go to layer 25 and type in ignore player like this. It's very case sensitive. Make sure it's spelled right and capitalized. Back over to the gun here. Body right here. This is set to ignore players, so it shouldn't collide with you or your body or anything like that. So it should make it a lot more comfy to hold. Projection port. I can probably just leave that as is. Front sight. Add a little box collider there. Make that ignore player as well. Iron sight. Same story. I'm just gonna add a simple little box collider set to ignore player. Also probably just that as well. Dock. This one's gonna be a little tricky. Not real picky or anything, so I'm just like this. Add another box collider. Bring this one. Kind of like a slope, kind of. Not really. I don't know. It's just kind of just like the lazy way out. I personally can't be bothered to bother with all that, but yeah, you know, I probably should, just so whoever is watching this actually knows that they can do this. If you ever have like an angle that you need to put a collider at, what you can do is you can create an empty position where it needs to be. Give it the collider you're gonna use and all that. Point. Scale it and shit. And then you can take this game object and you rotate it like that. That's how you can make like rotated colliders, like angles like this, which I'm probably just gonna make this ignore player as well. Also be player. Okay, dock's done. Looks like we got a lot of the colliders done. So again, we can apply all of these here. Now the only thing we're missing now are audio clips, which that should be mostly self-explanatory. Out of ammo would be like the trigger click when you don't have any more bullets to shoot, just the sound of the trigger click. And then the magazine load, that sound plays when you load the magazine. And of course, magazine release plays whenever you take the mag out, and then you got the firing audio. You can have as many of these as you want. Just make sure that it's like that the firing audio is like at most maybe, I don't know, half a second to a second long, because if you have a whole bunch of like firing sounds that are at like really long echo and shit, these sounds stack up, and eventually the game will just stop playing the firing audio because it has like a cue, I guess. Like the game will only play so many sounds at once, and the game won't cut off the previous sound to play a new one either. They'll just stack up. So it's important you have them like trimmed real short, so you can get them without them sounding weird. Make sure they're short so they don't like reach that limit and mess with any of the sounds. I don't have any sounds right now set up, so I'm just gonna apply this all here. So it looks like we got everything set up here. Again, just to make sure, should have done this from the beginning, but the folder that you have this little gun built under needs to be the asset bundle. Because this parent folder is going to be building the asset bundle. Everything I put under it will build under the same mod. So like this folder will count as well. Yeah. I think it might be ready. I'm going to go and up at the top here, top left, I'm going to click assets, then build mod asset bundles. I'm going to compile the scripts and compile all the assets and shit. Oh, I think it did. Alright, I'm going to go and create a mod bundle. This should be a folder that shows up in your assets as well. This will have all of the mod bundles that you created and compiled. You can right click, go and explore it. This will bring up your little file explorer here. Create mod bundles. I've got my Battlefield 4 guns and a manifest file. These two are the only two you need. Shouldn't need any meta files or anything like that, just these two files right here. Okay, so once you get into your, you need to get into your Brutalistick VR install folder, all the game files. You're gonna go up to Brutalistick VR data, streaming assets, and then the mods folder. Just gonna delete that. Now from here, like there's a little file right here that says to do it. But you're gonna create a new folder. Name this whatever the mod will be called. You're gonna go into the folder and then you're gonna paste these two files here. Now, if we did everything correctly, this gun should now load into the game. So I'm gonna go do that real quick. I'll be back. Okay, so I'm gonna load here into Brutalistick. Get everything right. It should show up in the wall, and also hopefully from here, the rest we do with the weapon we can mess with just from right here in VR. If the game would load already. All right, element. Oh. There you go. All right. What the fuck was that? Okay, whatever. We're in the game now. It's working now. Where is it? M16 right here. Oh boy. Probably have the hand held over a little too far. Block it. Here the mag works. Oh. Oh, there he goes. Okay. As you can see here, hands don't really collide with it, neither does our body, but it collides with the world, which also means you can smack people with it. Isn't that just sweet? Now this, I don't know what the fuck the bolt's doing. Might have something to do with the colliders, actually. Not even going all the way back forward anymore either. But thankfully from here, I think that's something we can fix. We shouldn't have to go all the way back to our fucking computer. But go do that. I'm gonna close out of the game. Let's exit the game. Oh, come on. There you go. Okay. I'm gonna go back. Fuck Steam. Okay. Go back over here into Unity, right here. I'll take our gun. Take a little bolt. I'm gonna apply all. So hopefully the changes I just made fixes the whatever weird issues I had with it. Go and build mod asset bundles. And I'm gonna go back into my file explorer here. Create mod bundles. And refresh this. And as I've said earlier, you do not need those 2 meta files. Those are completely unnecessary. I'm gonna hold the right stick and highlight so I can copy, paste, place the files in the description. And go back, try and load into the game, and hopefully those weird little handling things are fixed. Keyword, hopefully. Second. Jesus Christ. Okay. Here. 16. Take the mag. Fucking oops. Okay, so now that we have the gun mostly functional, it's loading into the game and everything. Not really any sounds for it yet, but whatever. I don't know what the fuck's Bolt doing on this gun, but it's functional. It works. You can shoot and shit. But now I want to try and tweak the recoil on it, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna close out of this game. Here, firearm schedule object. This is where our recoil is all at. Up force, lower that way the fuck down. 2 or maybe 3.5. Tap it 2.5. 1.7. Increase the backwards force to 25. Okay. Now, because that's a scribble object, we don't really have to worry about applying transforms to the prefab itself because this is separate. So whenever we make changes to this, we just got to rebuild the mod like usual. Not it. Build mod asset bundles. All right. What the fuck are you doing, Quest? Alright. I don't know why the fuck they would change the UI. It was perfectly fine before. Now it's just worse. Confusing and shit. Okay. Okay. Come on, you fucking piece of shit. Hopefully, you don't have to deal with this issue, because I've done everything I can to figure out what the fuck is wrong with this piece of shit. This fuck-ass Bolt. And I don't know. That's much better recoil. Yeah, as for uploading the workshop, you just follow the wiki. That tells you how to do it. If you did paste your ID into your mod when you built it, it should show up here. You can just upload. Make sure you have a preview image within the mod folder so it has an icon on the workshop. That's important. People are not going to be clicking on it without an icon. That's usually how that goes. Let's see here. Fucking zombies. The M16 from Battlefield 4 without any sounds and a fucked up bolt. Oops. Oopsies. Trying to hit a fucking speed action shot. Come on, man. Come on, man! There we go. Alright, who's left?